please like and subscribe.
All right, Blair, you're up.
Hot seat.
You're in the hot seat. But first off, I think most people probably know who you are, but just introduce yourself.
What's that?
What'd you say, Holly?
Okay, Holly. You know what? Just for you, Holly.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh. No. Crocker.
Yeah, so they someday, Holly, you might wear some Crocs.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Things change.
You know,
Things
she's
change.
going to be the person that tries them on, Blair, and then she's never going to wear anything else.
Yeah,
she's going to have 50 different pairs, and
No.
no,
We may have a pair for
there might be something floating around somewhere. But Blair, you're the community moderator of MProtocol. Can you explain to us what that is, what that means?
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously, just involved with the community. So if you guys have noticed, almost anytime there's a question floating around and it finds a way to my feed, if another community member tags me in something, just ensuring that the community knows the answer to questions that we do have the answers for and that we can address immediately. So just ensuring that the community knows that, hey, we've got a voice, and if we have a question or concern or whatever it may be, we have team members that are absolutely responsive. So working on that, and also obviously bringing in other communities currently. I think you guys may or may not have seen some of our spaces with XRP community members. We've actually got some interesting Cardano community members. We were supposed to have it yesterday, got rescheduled for next week, but those guys are also willing to hold a Spanish space for us. And I actually have had a good handful of holders that will DM me in Spanish, and I've got to go tap the wife on the shoulder and translate for me. But we know that our community is broad and from each and every part of the world, obviously. And we look to hopefully bring a Spanish space to the community as well this shortly.
Very cool.
Nice.
Quick question on that, though, because I do see you all over Twitter answering questions. Do you ever sleep?
I've got a 4-year-old that is absolutely nuts, and I probably sleep literally, not exaggerating, 4 to 4.5 hours a night. I sent a picture in our group chat the other day. I work from home, except for Wednesdays, and I'm working from home, and my boss is calling me, asking me why am I not productive that day, and I sent him a picture, and I walk outside, and my son's literally got the hose running into our tree and made a puddle, and he's literally swimming in mud. Very excited.
Yeah. Adventures. Boys will be boys.
Wow. Yeah, no, I will tell you, Gotti has been on the podcast before, and he was very adamant about community and being a community member. I believe you as a moderator have to hold that same sentiment because I see you everywhere. Like we talked about, we actually ran into you in the Misfits Discord. I've seen you answering some really tough questions, but being in the forefront of that and never shying away from that. So I just take a second to commend you on that for being so accessible. In the DeFi space, sometimes that's not the case, but you guys do a really good job of being out there, even when it's not easy. Unfortunately, it's not always easy, is it, Blair?
I learned that very quickly. It's not.
Let's talk about that for just a second, okay? So, you guys launched the BTC MProtocol token. I believe for the most part that went pretty smoothly. There wasn't, I can't recall any major issues, anything that may have popped up. I think you guys got taken care of very quickly. And then we had the BNB launch, which was super hyped. Probably not any more hyped by you guys than the first one, but by the community because they were very, very excited about it. And a lot of people were stocking up for that and getting ready to get into that. And then it launched. And do you want to explain what happened, maybe in better technical terms than I can explain it? Or do you want me to tackle that? What happened at launch?
No, yeah, I think the community is very aware of what happened. The blockchain is very accessible, and if you go in there and you play around with clicking on wallet addresses, you can directly see what occurred.
Yeah.
So obviously we as MProtocol with the prior vision of not holding pre-sales, trying to be innovative and looking to see our own liquidity, which is powered by Blockbuster's tech, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
So with the success of the BTC MP launch, we wanted to continue that trend. If you saw my response to a lot of questions and concerns about the MPBNB launch, it was always, hey, we're going to follow a very similar blueprint. It will be different, but we're going to follow a very similar blueprint. And we never go into spaces. We never answer questions with asking the community or promoting it. It really was community driven, and we know that rewarding in BSC was critical, not only to our holders but also to our entire ecosystem that we're building out and how we're going to be rewarding in, a multitude of tokens. So essentially, what occurred was we launched a token. From a technical standpoint, the contract was nearly exactly the same as the MPBTC contract. We seeded slightly less liquidity, which obviously would also deem some more, variables in which the chart could increase significantly faster. And obviously, there was a what we like to call a bad player, and they were able to successfully get in the first, I believe it was 6 transactions. I can't recall exactly, but they were able to get quite a bit of the supply initially prior to any actual users. So that led to a bad experience chart-wise for us, and obviously liquidity-wise as well, from that initial first few seconds of launch. And we were at the forefront of that. We addressed that, and we obviously have a plan moving forward to ensure that we do our best to ensure that it doesn't happen again.
Yeah. And, as investors too, we, at some level, maybe some more than others, maybe some less than others, know what some of those risks can be. But I know that you guys are always active and you are always looking to make things better. And I'm not asking you to tell me exactly what it may be, but is it safe to assume that you guys have got some things in place to ensure we don't have a repeat on the next token?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So a few of those things are obviously the community, really want to pre-sell. So number one is we're going to hold pre-sale, allow a certain amount of period of time in which those that would like to participate will have the opportunity to participate with a pre-sale, as well as on the technical side. There's a coding in which, if you guys aren't aware, in which basically the contract is, even though the liquidity is seeded, it's still not active for trading. So there's a code that basically a switch that gets swapped, and you have to sort of trick any of the bad players that are looking to have the first few get in at the first few transactions. So that coding will be different moving forward as well.
Okay, cool. Very cool. I knew that you guys had things in place. I just figured it might be better for the people watching to be able to hear it from you than for me to try to explain it. And then I didn't want to misspeak on that. So I appreciate you being open about that. But speaking about the MProtocol, is the XRP still the next token that you're planning on launching?
Yes. As of right now, we are actually working on staking to launch. That will be our next plan of attack as of today. As we know, things potentially may change, but as of this moment in time, staking will be next, and then the next MProtocol will be XRP currently.
Yeah, see, it seems like while we film this podcast, every Friday something breaking news happens right in the middle of it. And we don't keep our phones on us because we don't necessarily want to pick up on the mic and stuff like that. So I wouldn't be surprised if there was something launching right now that we have no idea about. But no, it's really cool that you guys are able to do that. I know staking is becoming a very big thing on the BSC chain. People really enjoy doing that. There are pretty good returns out there, so I think that's probably a pretty good step for you guys in that direction. But what besides that, Blair, what else are you super excited about or just looking forward to when it comes to the MProtocol as a whole? Is there any one thing that piques your interest or helps you get up a little faster in the morning, or however you may want to word it?
Yeah, I think what I like to do is, especially being a part of the team, is we get back to ground zero with what we're building out. And I think with all the excitement around the launches and the expectation of, hey, I want my bag size to be a certain amount, we sort of get away from what MProtocol will eventually be built out to be. And what MProtocol is specifically going to be doing for our entire ecosystem is attracting holders of all different areas. So we've got the Mobility partnership in place, and a certain number is there in which we'll obviously have our marketing. There, Don has also talked about some things maybe in New York as far as advertising for MProtocol. So that will potentially be coming here in the near future as well. That's in the plans. And really, our staking is the number one thing that I'm most excited about. I think we all see a lot of the excitement around staking in our community currently. And it's going to be very new to our community. Not only that the staking is going to be exciting, but it's going to be literally a first of its kind staking in its entirety of DeFi, never done before, and how we're going to be operating our staking. So I think once we actually roll out those details and we roll out the map and how it'll actually operate, the community is actually going to be very excited and understanding how the entire ecosystem is going to function.
Yeah, and we would never ask you when, but it sounds like that's sooner than later, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yep, very cool. Is there anything else about MProtocol that you want to talk about before we move on to maybe a couple more personal questions? Like anything you want to get off your chest?
Yeah, absolutely. One thing that I want to throw out to the community, and I don't know if anybody caught on to it or if it's just maybe something that they heard but really didn't pay attention to, but there's this little thing called mirror swap that we're working on as well. And there's a word that Gotti used in his last interview that I'll repeat, and I hope the community pays attention a little bit to it. It's called cross-chain liquidity.
Yeah. Yeah, I wasn't sure exactly how to bring that up to you, but we do just not to get into our personal finances crazy, but we do a lot of things on a lot of different chains. And when I read that, I was like, yeah, okay. I could get excited about that because that's not necessarily always the easiest thing sometimes. So I'm really cool to read that and see what that turns out to be. And I'm glad you brought that up because that was one that I had kind of written down, but I was like, I really don't know how to even bring that up because there's not a lot of information out there on it right now. But that's going to be pretty cool, man. We're really looking forward to that. So let me ask you this. Outside of crypto world, what kind of stuff gets you excited? What kind of things is Blair into?
Yeah, I'm a big basketball guy.
PG wise.
Did you?
Wow.
Yeah, love you, Blair. Just had to give you a hard time.
I heard Hennessy a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I was thinking that. Yeah.
That's actually what popped into my head as I asked the question. I was like, oh, yeah.
Hey, next time if you guys get Gotti on again, just ask him what's on top of his fridge. I won't say anything more than that.
Fair enough.
Okay. Wow.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
But I'm a big basketball guy, so I love basketball. When I was a child, that was my outlet. I used to literally play from 4 p.m. till my mom would come outside and chase me with her belt, trying to get back inside the house. So big basketball guy. I enjoy bowling. I used to bowl when I was a kid. I was pretty good. Poker a little bit.
Just a little bit, though.
Yeah, it pains me to say poker a little bit.
Wow.
You know what happens to me, Blair, is every time I talk back, I end up just getting it right back. So I'm sure I'm going to get destroyed at the next poker tournament. But at least I got one notch.
Or something.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. Who's your favorite basketball player?
Right now, obviously LeBron.
Oh, wow.
That's who I wanted to punch in the face. And one of our, I think Holly asked the question. I wanted to punch LeBron in the face. I was afraid you were going to say LeBron.
When you said that, I want to punch you in the... No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So when we meet in person, you and I are just going to immediately start wrestling.
Yes. Peter Griffin
We're
on the
gonna hash
chicken.
that out.
It's funny you say that about basketball, though, because Caleb and I growing up were basketball nuts. And literally, our dad would have to come outside, not once or twice, but walk out into the driveway and almost grab us and go, "It's time to come inside." Like, he wanted to turn the light off outside. Out in the country, we've got these just random
Yard lights.
that the electric company puts up, and you could take the bulbs out of it if you paid money, and he was too cheap to do that. But we would shoot until whenever he made us come inside. So that's very cool. But last question, maybe the most important question before we get into some of the other stuff. And you seem like a really good dude, so I know that you're going to be honest with this, even though it may be tough. How many pairs of Crocs do you own?
Right now, I'm on the lower end, so you guys have seen me comment on a lot of the guys that post shoes. So I'm actually a little shoe head, I guess. Sneakerhead is what they like to call it.
Yep.
I like to rotate pairs though, so I don't like staring at shoes that I know I can resell and just stare at them when I walk into my little office here that I've built out. So right now I've got 3 pairs. I've got the Carrot Crocs that I sent a picture of not too long ago.
Yeah.
I've got Holly's favorite. These are the ones I wore to Vegas.
There you go.
Was these? Got a white pair laying around somewhere around here.
Awesome.
That's actually on the low end, Blair. I figured it would be higher than that.
I'm disappointed you don't have tie-dye Crocs. I feel like everybody has tie-dye Crocs.
I don't.
I don't.
Not me.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
I actually have 3 pairs too.
I have
Camo.
two.
Camo.
2.
Holly, it sounded like you were judging us a little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
I like the tone.
Yeah,
of what you said.
just a little bit.
Blair, she's not in a very good mood because of the taste test.
It's the anticipation.
She's angry.
You guys, I'm like, holy crap, we're almost done with this segment.
Yeah, does anybody else have anything they want to talk about for an hour before we move on to the torture
For an
test?
hour.
All right,
Let's
well,
just do that first.
now we got through all that. Blair, is there anything else that you wanted to talk about before we move on? Anything you wanted to bring up? Or if not, that's cool, and we'll turn it over to Holly, but floor's yours if you want it.
Yeah, just real quickly, what I'll say is I've only been in the community maybe 3 months roughly, as far as like my face being in the community. I was poking around for a little while, and everybody's been welcoming. There's some intelligent people in this space. I like to go into the chats and I like to make a lot of jokes and I play around a lot, but I do like to harvest a little bit. I'm a little younger. Holly likes to say I'm 19, even though I'm not 19. I'm a little bit than that.
I didn't figure you're over 16, so I guess we're good.
I even posted a picture the other day. I had the privilege and the honor to go back to the house I grew up in, roughly, I believe it was February this year, and remodel the house I grew up in, which my mother bought for $3,000 when I was a child. I grew up, a little rough, and I think we all have in one aspect or another, whether that was financially or just however that may be applicable to our own lives. And being able to do that, we're now rented out to a family, a mother of 3 children. So for me, I've got big dreams, and my mother, her big dream is to open up a kind of what we're doing now, but at a much larger scale. And to be able to have a foundation that will eventually be able to do that, it's got to have money. You got to scale that. So in my professional career, I've been blessed enough in which I've been able to manage some pretty large locations. At a very young age, I've had some really good mentors. So to be in this space, to be new to it, to not know all the answers, to not be as technical as I probably am expected to be, being a part of obviously a company and a project in MProtocol, the community has been very welcoming and accepting of me, and I'm always here to answer the tough questions. I jumped into a space with Dan Robinson and Kevin Arnold as soon as after, I think that was a couple of days after the launch, and I was even getting DMs like, "What are you doing in there?" And everybody's hitting the mic for me, and I was, "Hey, look, I'm a face. I'm a name in our community and in this company, and I represent it. And I want to absolutely ensure if there's concerns and I have the answers, I want to make sure that people know that they'll get their answers, and I'm here." So I just want to say thank you to the community. I want to thank you guys. You guys have, when I had like 12 followers, you guys were one of my favorites to kind of go back and forth with. So
Yeah.
that's really nice.
Yeah, and man, you kind of touched on it that it's easy to figure out who good people are if you just pay attention, and that's kind of when we started migrating and talking with you in different channels and things like that because you just seem very genuine, and that's awesome because it's not. I won't say it's harder to find because we've been on kind of the same journey as you and in the community. We've been doing this for many years, but we've only been on Twitter since March, but we've really only been in the community for like the last, I don't know, 3 to 4 months. But people have been very welcoming, and it's been really cool to run into people like you. And there's too many names to name, but it is very unique, and it is very welcoming, very supportive. And I just would say kudos to not running and hiding when things weren't going well. It was for a guy that invested in that project. It was very nice to see you out in the forefront. I wondered about the DMs because I've been in the professional world, and I wondered if there wasn't going to be somebody go, Blair, what are you doing, man? Like, go take a nap or something. Let's not do this right now. But kudos for doing that, man. And and once again, I know we won't be able to talk later after the taste test. Thank you for coming on.
Get it all
We
out
do
now.
appreciate that very much. It means more to us than you'll ever know. So thank you very much.
And one little final statement for us to move on is if we can take the wins in life, we also have to. You've got to be able to take the losses or the learning experiences on the chin even the more. If you can get in the box, I don't care how hard you hit, I don't care how good your footwork is, but if you can't take a punch, you know, you're not gonna go too far.
Yeah.
So I'm glad, in a way, and I don't mean that literally, because obviously what was experienced was not happy at all. But to have my hit on the chin a little early, we've learned from it, and we expect to grow from it.
Yeah, you should put that saying on a T-shirt.
I'm Caleb. Please like and subscribe.